Hey there, I'm Josh from Synty Studios. In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how you can enable the Epic Water system and the basics of using its water. I'm going to be using the Polygon Pirate Isles map pack in Unreal Engine 5.3. However, this tutorial will be relevant for using water in any Unreal project. Let's get started. Here I've opened the Pirate Isles demo map and I'm using the default water. The first thing we're going to do is enable the water plugin. To do that, we're going to go to Edit, Plugins, and then we're going to search for water and enable the water plugin. In Unreal 5.3, the water plugin is still experimental, so click yes if you're using that version. Then click Restart Now to restart your engine. After you've restarted the engine, you'll get a warning that there's no collision profile for the new water. You can click the button at the end of the text to add it to the default engine.ini. With that done, we can head back to our demo map and start working on the water. The first step in our demo map is going to be deleting the old water. We can click the water to select it. You might want to make note of its Z location. In this case, the Z location is just 0. With that noted, we can hide the water, or delete it. In this case, I'm just going to click the eye in the outliner to hide it. Now we're going to click the Add Object button at the top left in the toolbar. Once you've clicked the button, you can actually type water on your keyboard to search for water. Here you'll see all our water objects. We're going to choose Water Body Ocean, and I'll elaborate on why in a few moments. First, we need to set our ocean up. You'll notice that the landscape has gotten weird. We need to turn off Effects Landscape on our ocean. We're also going to want to zero out its location, or at least have it at the same height as our other water before. Now we're going to want to zoom out and find the little island that our ocean makes. The ocean body water makes a little island using spline points. This is useful when you want to paint terrain from scratch, but our map here already has terrain, so we're just going to move this inside the island over here. Basically, we just want to select each of the spline points that makes up that island and hide them inside existing terrain. If you need help selecting the spline points, you can click these buttons over here, and then move them. Once that's done, the ocean should be filling our scene. If we take a look around, we can see that we're now using the Epic Water system. You might be wondering what the benefits of using that ocean system were over, say, a custom water body. If we enable this console command, we can see the water mesh. We can see that it's highly detailed in our main scene, but if we go to the edge of the scene, we can see that the ocean extends infinitely, but highly efficiently. It's basically only a few polygons extending it endlessly through our scene. If we disable the command again, you can see that we have an infinite endless ocean. That's the benefit of using the ocean system versus the other water bodies. I'll now show you how you can manipulate the waves on the water. First, let's select our water and actually reduce its height a bit, since the waves add a bit of height. I'll set it to maybe -50 in the Z-axis. Next, we can scroll down to the wave section in the details panel of our water. You can see that there's a wave source section. Here, there's two default wave assets, one for lake and one for ocean. You can select one of those, but we're actually going to create our own wave generator. In the wave source, instead of choosing reference, choose Gerstner water waves. Then, we have a generator with a few settings we can play with. I'll go over the basics of them. Each wave has a wavelength and an amplitude. You can think of wavelength like the distance between waves, and the amplitude like how high they go. The value will be randomly between the max and the min, so if we increase the max amplitude, you can see that the waves get higher. Then if we increase the min wavelength, we can see that the distance between them increases quite a bit. If we reduce the max wavelength, you can see that the distance between them is really short and they're going really high. I'm going to set those back to default for now and highlight one more important setting. Let's move over to the shoreline for a better view. At the top of the wave category in the details panel is wave attenuation water depth. I'm just going to increase the wave amplitude so it's a bit more obvious and then play with that. This setting controls the depth at which it starts smoothing out the waves for the shoreline. The ocean waves get smoothed out on the shoreline, and this value controls when that starts happening. By increasing it, you can have a calm shore that gets wavier as you get out into open water. I'll now show you how you can manipulate the colors of the water. First, we're going to want to go to the rendering category. We're going to want to find the top material called Water Material. There's a Browse to Asset and Content Browser button. Let's click that. Here, we're going to want to right-click it and duplicate it. This is an engine material, which means if we modify it, it'll be affecting all your projects that use this material. By duplicating it, we can work with a new one. Let's name it Ocean 2 and make sure we leave it selected. Then, let's go back to our water body ocean in the outliner, go back to our wave material, and click the Use Selected Asset button. Let's again browse to the selected asset, double-click our Ocean 2, and open it up so that we can modify its parameters. If we scroll down, we can find a few colors, including the absorption color. This is the main one we're going to work with for now. You can think of this as the color that light becomes when it hits the water, which is why it's called absorption, but it's basically the water color. One cool tweak is playing with the alpha parameter. By reducing it, you're able to see less through the water and it becomes darker as it moves up the shoreline. You can see the stylistic difference that this makes, especially on the shorelines. This is also effective for producing a darker ocean color. Speaking of color, you can play with the RGB directly too. For example, if we reduce the green, we get a deeper blue. The ocean material has a lot of options to customize our water. Let's turn on Caustics and see how that looks. After the water shader updates quickly, you'll see that it produces a shimmer on top of the water. There's a lot of options to customize the water as you see fit. I'll now show you one last tip. The Epic water system includes an underwater post-process. That means if we move underwater, it'll make your vision look as if you're underwater. You can see the difference as we move above and below the shoreline. You can easily modify the post-process as well. If you scroll down to Advanced, there's an Underwater Post-Process category. There, you can enable and disable the post-process. It also has all the usual post-process settings if you'd like to customize its visual appearance. Thanks for watching. If you found this tutorial helpful, please like and subscribe. Let us know in the comments if you'd like to see a follow-up tutorial that can include adding buoyancy to objects, or how to create a masking volume that can cull out the water from the interior of boats.